out of the gate, we should say, I am going to be asking you to engage here. I'm going to be asking you for your markets, your tickers. We're going to look at live markets. So if you're still here, you're still awake, you're still rocking and rolling at this Friendsgiving event, please just type a Y in the chat. That way I can just see who's here, see who's live and kicking. And I will also know where you're dialing in from. I am in Austin, Texas, and it is finally fall here, which is nice. And all right, cool. Well, we have, yes, David in Louisville. I don't think I knew that you live in Louisville.
Yep.
Awesome. So just a little logistical question. Will I see if anyone engages in the chat, David?
Yeah, it'll show up
Okay.
there. You see Kathy?
Okay, great. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I got a neighbor here in Texas. Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Well, I will keep tabs on that and dive in. So, the reason I asked where you guys are from is because trading is so amazing. You can do it from anywhere, right? I've lived in like 10 states in this country. You can do it from all over the world. We've got folks here in Texas, Kentucky, New Jersey. Is that where everyone's from? Come on. Like I said, I will make this worth your while if you tell me where you're from, and we will spend the majority of our time here looking at the live markets with the concept I'm going to teach you about speed trading. So I know it's 4 in the afternoon. Maybe it's that midday lull, but my New Yorker energy will wake you up. Okay, great. Thank you, Rahul in Pennsylvania. Okay, fantastic. So let's dive in because you're here for speed trading, how I break through limits and get into the consistent profit zone. All right, now in a moment, you're about to discover the one squiggly line to add to your analysis for a heads up on major market turns, even in these crazy conditions where it seems like the trend turns on you out of nowhere. You're about to discover a simple way to take your existing chart setup and identify reliable setups that maximize risk reward, whether you trade for the very short term or the long haul. And promise by the end of our time today, you'll know everything you need to know on how to squeeze more out of the price action you're already staring at by using what I call the speed behind the directional moves and be able to uncover trade setups that you can reliably take over and over again. Because here's the problem, all right? Many traders are not realizing that being on top of the pace of the price moves is vital to entering and exiting most efficiently. It's like trying to go surf and you're not paying attention to the next wave sneaking up behind you. That is a recipe for a wipeout. Now, many traders are assuming they need to get better at studying price direction and action, right? Fibonacci ratios, Elliott wave, Gann patterns like I do. And sure, there's a time and place for that. But first, they need to know how to use the speed of the market, the speed behind the moves, because that's what makes all those patterns work even better. And no one's ever shown them how to do that until now. And I'm here and ready to share my secrets with you because you're ready to take action now. So notice I'm going to be absolutely upfront and transparent with you today. I'm going to show you current case studies and figures today, grab from within the past few weeks on these charts, and we will look at live markets. And as you well know, trading involves risk, so it's your responsibility to evaluate any information, opinion, advice, or other content contained within my presentation, okay? Your results are up to you. I can't predict them. I'm not going to predict them. Anyone who says they can is lying to you. All right, I don't know your trading plan, your account size, or your markets. I can only show you what's working for myself and others. Your success is up to you. So who am I and why listen to me, right? Well, I'm Hima Reddy. I'm a chartered market technician, a veteran Wall Street analyst, and the leading published expert on the trading methods of W.D. Gann, who was a prolific trader from the early 1900s. I'm known for my expert ability to take the complex and make it simple, so that thousands of traders have been deploying my training that I've shared over the past 25 years of education and private market analysis. Now, it all began when I was learning futures trading from my dad, okay? This was in the late 1990s, starting as a teenager. I came to recognize three main approaches to my analysis, a trifecta, if you will. Now, it starts with price action, the movement of a security's price over time. Then there was market timing, also known as forecasting, providing precise targets to manage my trades. But then the pace of the markets changed. The price action has become even faster since after COVID and picks up pace every time there's uncertainty looming, which feels like every day now, right? Type a Y in the chat if you feel like, when are things just going to calm down? There's always some crazy axe to throw in the mix. All right, so what's helped smooth the volatile action while still being a leading indicator is the speed of the market, also known as momentum. And I started to blend what I had learned from Gann's works, guided by my father, to squeeze even more out of traditional indicators, bringing them into a new modern way. Traders look at momentum, every moment. And this is all detailed in my 4 zones RSI coverage system with brand new updates and you'll immediately notice how much easier it is to make money trading, and I'll show you that a little later. So what's different about the 4 zones RSI coverage system? This system gives you my Jedi momentum indicator and GAN-inspired techniques that help you efficiently trade turns and large moves in any market on any time frame. But more on that in a bit. First, we're going to dive right in. All right, trading momentum can be easy, but first you need to understand how it works. A Formula One car racing track will have you understanding momentum in no time. So this will be a great refresher for those of you who've been using momentum and a great intro for those of you where it's brand new. So let's look at this car racing track, okay? We're gonna put ourselves in the driver's seat of this hot little red car. And you're at the starting line of the track, you rev up your engine and you go. You pick up speed really quickly or accelerate on the straight runs. You see a turn coming up and you prepare accordingly, right? You ease off the gas to slow down, even if it's just a little bit. So you can have more control as the car whips to the other side of the turn. Then after you make the turn and the road straightens out again, you hit the accelerator once more. So are you getting the idea of how you'd accelerate and decelerate on this track? Type a Y in the chat, right? You got to speed up, you got to slow down to stay safe, right? Awesome, because this translates right to your stock charts. Let me show you. So we're going to jump into the helicopter that's looking down at the racetrack and get a bird's eye view of it. And then we're going to replot this road from that aerial view, looking down from the helicopter. So you see the racetrack becomes price as you see it on your stock charts, with price on the right axis and time on the bottom axis. And that important piece of data I talked about, the speed of the market, is generally plotted underneath. It's from a category of indicators called momentum. Now, momentum refers to the speed at which the price is changing. So when prices are rising, you've got upward momentum that's improving. That upward momentum generally begins to slow down and peak, form a peak like a mountaintop before price does. Okay, this makes momentum a leading indicator. So it can give you a heads up before market turns. Now, during falling prices, there's falling momentum that's becoming a more and more powerful force. But when a price bottom is approaching, you usually see momentum bottom first. Therefore, momentum indicators can warn you about hidden strength or weakness, giving you a heads up, especially when it comes to potential market turns. So understanding the speed or momentum of the market action is what helps you boost your trading results beyond just analyzing price or time alone. So you might be thinking, great, Hima, I'm just going to go over to my charting software of choice. I'll find an indicator in the momentum section and I'll just plop it down on my chart. Easy peasy. Here's the catch. The study of momentum in trading has been around for a long time, and there are many indicators that have developed. I mean, here's what one might say is an exhaustive list, okay? But really, traders and analysts are tinkering with indicators all the time. Are you still hearing me, David? I'm just checking in because at least one person in the chat said they're having sound issues, so I just want to make
Uh,
sure we're good.
yeah, your sounds fine.
We're good? Okay, great. You never know. Okay, thank you guys. So this could be an exhaustive list of those indicators, right? And if you think about it, especially with AI, right? People are tinkering with indicators every day trying to find that next holy grail. So this list is never going to end. So which one do you use and how to use it? Well, just like the car racing track, it got you understanding momentum, right? The speed of the market. I'm going to bring in another real world scenario to show you the one indicator that rules them all. Now we're going to dive into the indicator, but first let me share with you results from our trading family. Hima, I value your insights. Your momentum indicator is an integral part of what I've put together. I believe I'm ready to go from paper to live trading, said Jim. All right, now that we've made momentum easy to understand, in a moment, I'm going to show you how you can make money trading momentum. Okay, I'm going to let you peek behind the scenes of my trading and show you how momentum moves through markets that you know using my special Jedi indicator. For that, we're hitting the football field. Now, we are here in football season, and I'm assuming there's a fair share of Americans in the crowd. So I want those of you who are here listening live to type your team in the chat, okay? And I'm married to a Wisconsin man, which is why football's even in my life. So you can guess that the team of our household is the Green Bay Packers. All right. Now, the Green Bay Packers have several rivals, but probably the biggest of all time is the Chicago Bears. So let's say these two teams on the field. What do they need to do to win? Well, there's one goal when they play, okay? When the Packers have the ball, they want to get through the Bears defense. They want to get to the end zone and score points. That's what they care about. When the Bears have the football, they're trying to do the same thing, but to the other side, right? They're trying to get through the Packers defense to bring the ball to the other end zone and score points. So remember that word zone, because that's the name of the game. Now, if you've watched American football on TV, you've seen this field in this horizontal fashion, right? It spans 100 yards from left to right. And so let's take that and apply it back to momentum, that 0 to 100 range, okay? So we're going to take this football field, we're going to turn it on its head. So now we're looking at it vertically. So that same 0 to 100 yard span is now 0 to 100 going up and down instead of side to side. You guys got it? Okay, cool. Now we're going to drop this to where we plotted momentum earlier. See how that 0 to 100 football field is now lined up with the momentum indicator axis? Okay, awesome. Now here's the thing. Just like with the football field, there are momentum indicators out there that are also bound from 0 to 100, the exact same numbers. So let's come back to that crazy list of indicators and look at just one, called the relative strength index. So here we have some recent history of the E-mini S&P 500 futures. That's my main market of choice, what my dad got me started on, okay? And that's what I still analyze and trade today. Now down below, I've included the RSI relative strength index, and it's called the RSI for short, and I brought our little vertical football field for reference, right? So you can say the same 0 to 100. Now, the RSI was first designed to give traders a heads up to stay out of the way on sideways market action, to protect their capital, okay? And this was in the 1970s, right? Where most people were not plotting charts on their own computers. They didn't have them in their households. So it helped to be able to plot the RSI to better understand when the trend might reemerge. Now, this has its challenges, though, when it comes to trending markets. Let me show you. Over on the traditional RSI, the momentum indicator enters what's called overbought territory when it gets above 70. Okay, so everything at this red line and above, highlighted in yellow. And what will happen is suddenly you'll get into this mode where you want to sell. And the problem is if you're in a strong price move higher, like this one back here or this one back here, okay? If you owned contracts of these futures and sold just because the indicator turned red, you'd leave a bunch of money on the table. Or worse, you might pick the top and go short on a strong market, eating into your trading capital. So that's a challenge with the traditional RSI. All right. Now, on the flip side, the traditional RSI enters what's called oversold territory when it gets below 30. So buy signals live there. Again, though, if you're in a strong price trend market like this one, the signal only will alert you to major lows. You would have missed out on other opportunities to go long for profit, like the April 2025 low or the recent August 2025 low, okay? So you would have seen the April 2025 low, but you would not have been able to enter on the August 2025 low and other opportunities along the way, okay? The indicator wouldn't have brought your attention there. So are you guys ready for the twist I have to the squiggly line, the one indicator that rules them all? Okay, awesome. Let's check it out. Remember the bears? The bears want to get from that 0 to 100 range, right? And they want to get to their end zone. So it's the same for the market bears. They're trying to push prices lower. So my twist on the RSI is called RSI power zones. And with this twist, the indicator now has 4 distinct zones. Okay, it's not just about general overbought and oversold areas anymore. So since this section of price action was mostly to the upside, let me introduce the indicator looking at the market bulls. So during uptrends in price, the RSI generally moves from this lower green area called the bull support power zone to this upper green area called the bull resistance power zone. Okay, support and resistance are simply floors below a certain type of market action or ceilings above it. So I took the concept that was on price action and I brought it into the momentum indicator. So if you were trading with power zones, those early red indications, they would not have scared you out of your longs and you would have kept so much more profit. Awesome, right? I mean, type a Y in the chat if you didn't know that you could do that with indicators, that you could do that with the RSI. You could make more use of this standard field, the 0 to 100. Okay, awesome. So we're going to make sure you're getting this down pat. We're going to go through multiple examples where I'll introduce the full indicator. Okay, here's all 4 of the RSI power zones laid out, and we'll get to those red ones in a moment. Now, wouldn't you love if you could know exactly how to make these kinds of changes to your momentum indicators in your charting platform with the right settings? Or better yet, just install it and get it rocking and rolling? Awesome, because I shared earlier how momentum indicators are leading and can give you a heads up in your trading. This is how we're going to bring speed trading to your financial markets participation. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here's just what a few of our many members have already accomplished and have to share. I installed the RSI Power Zones indicator, and it's just amazing how accurate it is on all markets. It actually gives advance warning before the price moves, said David. Okay, awesome. So, by the way, the exact numbers and specifics that you should be putting in there, I share that with those who choose to work with me, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. As a key understanding, I want you to simplify the charts and know that there are these power zones on the charts. And really, that's what I look at, okay? I don't look at anything else without also considering the momentum activity, the speed of the market via the RSI power zones. All right, awesome. Now that you've been introduced to the RSI Power Zones indicator, know this, okay? You can use it on any market in any time frame. So we've got some folks in this chat here. So go ahead and type in the chat what you trade. I'm going to type what I trade as well. So I trade ES on a 3-minute chart. And I would love to know what everyone else here trades because we're going to take it to those markets in a moment. And if you guys are shy, then I'll just pull up markets that I want to look at. Okay, cool. So we've got some folks here who look at micro. So we've got micro, ES, and MNQ on 5-minute. Great. Those are some of the combinations you see here on my screen. Okay. And we're going to take a look at some stocks that are reporting earnings this week, stocks that have reported recently as well. And what I want to start with is a variety of timeframes and markets so you can see this at work. Okay. So we'll start by looking at a pretty hot tech stock. I would say it's especially popular right now because, Trump went and told this company that they can't give a certain product to China, and it's a whole to-do. It's in the news. And that is NVIDIA, symbol NVDA, which we're going to look at on a weekly chart, okay? Now we're going to dial down and go to lower time frames. I just want to show you how this works on a bigger picture time frame. And this is a recent capture of action into the fall, okay? So we have the 4 power zones here. Bear support power zone, bull support power zone, bear resistance power zone, and bull resistance power zone. So let's apply this to a significant set of moves that occurred in NVIDIA and just see how it helped to trade it. So in March 2024, as you see here, shares were higher, right? And the RSI peaked in the bull resistance power zone, a clue that there might be a trend change or a pause. Because remember, in strong uptrends, overbought markets can be overbought many times before price actually turns lower. I mean, type a Y if that's happened to you in this current bull run, right? Even into November 2025, we barely got any October weakness. Everyone thought, oh, October is always weak in the market. Well, not this time. And if your charts are getting overbought, that's not a signal to sell immediately. You have to look for other factors. Okay, yeah, definitely this has happened to more than one person here. Okay, and if you look at what happened here, it was the same thing. Yes, there was a brief correction, but not significant at all. And then the market went higher again, the shares of NVIDIA, and they went back to the bull resistance power zone, right? Now, after that, they turned into a consolidation. So for 6 months or so, they just went sideways. But during that time, all the RSI power zones did was work its way back to the lower green zones, okay? So an uptrend market will generally have the RSI power zones move between the green zones, and a downtrend market will generally have the RSI move between the red zones. Now I say generally because it doesn't work 100% of the time, and I will show you how we are able to navigate around that, okay? All right, awesome. So let's take a look at what else unfolded here. So shares traded higher out of that consolidation, but the RSI was not able to get beyond the bear resistance power zone. Do you see that here? It was stalled out even though price had moved higher. So this was one of the earlier clues that there may be a more significant correction lower, and that's exactly what unfolded with shares weakening into April 2025 as the RSI moved back towards the bear support power zone. And I'm not talking just about the weakness during the week that the tariffs were first announced and they had the big board and the poster and the conference and everything, guys. I'm talking about knowing that there was weakness before that. And in fact, as we all know, the April tariffs announcements actually created immediate weakness that just quickly was stabilized, and we've been upward since, right? So here's the chart as of early October. And I just want you to see how this is super important because one of the biggest ways to boost your trading profits is to ride the price trends until they change, and power zones will help you do that. So let's take this and now shift gears a little bit. Let's still stay on a technology stock. This one's Micron, but this is a 60-minute chart, okay? So if there's anyone here who trades intraday charts, type a Y in the chat, right? 5 minutes, 60-minute, Anything that's intraday, less than 24 hours. All right, you could absolutely use this concept here. So now you can see on this segment of the chart, Micron shares found a footing in the bull support power zone back here, and then they extended into the bull resistance power zone. Okay, follow the orange arrow, which shows that movement and bulls carrying it through. Then what happened is that did not lead to a short-term top. In fact, the shares just kept grinding higher while the RSI power zones worked off some of those overbought conditions. Okay, it's like a marathon runner pausing for a drink of water. They're not quitting the race. They just need to rehydrate. And then we saw this reach into the bull resistance power zone again. Now, shares corrected lower after that second instance, and the RSI this time didn't just go back to bull support, it went all the way back down to the two lower red lines, the bear support zone. And then from there, it took off higher again. So this shows that while the zones are extremely helpful, it's not just about moving between the green and red zones and buy and sell here and there. No, there were actually patterns that appeared on the RSI power zones that could be used to enter and exit, and we'll talk more about patterns in a moment. So can you see how looking at the RSI power zones on Micron recently may have better helped you navigate trades in Micron or markets related to it? Okay, awesome. So before we get to our next topic, let me share results from our trading family. Like Shanti, who sent us many charts where she was able to make winning trades using the RSI power zones. Here's just one of them. She said, just want to let you know that the RSI works well with Forex. Today I made over 600 on Euro USD on the hourly chart. All right, by now you're getting it. So we're going to dive into my proprietary three-step approach to using RSI power zones to find great trade setups. I'm going to show you actual setups that I use and share with my trading family. So here it is, okay? At the end of this slide, you'll have the three steps laid out. You can take a screenshot, you can take a picture with your phone, and then we're going to look at it over some recent markets and live charts. So using RSI power zones to identify trade setups. Step one, review the chart and assess the price trend. Now, why am I talking about price? I mean, this has been a momentum training so far, right? Because like Gan says, price is king, okay? Price is the source of data from which momentum is even derived, and will benefit more from trading momentum if we're aware of the price trend. So when you make this assessment, and I'll show you how in a moment, you have three choices you end up with: uptrend, downtrend, or sideways. And yes, sideways is a type of trend, right? You can be prepared for the next directional move if you know how to monitor the momentum of the sideways action. Step two, evaluate the RSI power zones reading. This is specifically looking at the RSI value, the actual number of that black moving line, as compared to the power zone's locations, because each zone has a distinct upper and lower border, and there are 4 total zones as you've seen. Step three, determine the presence of an entry signal between price and momentum. Now, usually the best signals, the best patterns come when momentum and price are not connecting, okay? They're disconnecting, they're not jiving together. That's usually an opportunity that we could take advantage of for profit. Okay, so you've got your 3 steps using RSI power zones to identify trade setups, and I'm going to repeat these steps so that you're going to have them down pat by the end of our training. So let's go ahead and check out an index future. We have some folks in our audience trading micros, right? Index futures, and let's look at it in a 1-minute time frame. So this is a recent capture of M&Q futures, and we're going to apply the 3 steps. Step 1, review the chart and assess the price trend. Of the 3 choices I gave you, uptrend, downtrend, or sideways, this is an uptrend with a pullback in motion. So guys, you have to always know where you are in a trend, okay? If you're at the new high, then you're just in straight up uptrend territory. But if you're on your way down, again, the marathon runner taking that water, right? Taking a break, you just call it, hey, I'm in an uptrend, but right now there's a pullback in motion. So type one in the chat if you understand that. So you've got uptrend, uptrend with a pullback, downtrend, downtrend with a rally, or just sideways. Okay, those are the main trends. Now, step 2, evaluate the RSI power zones reading. So the RSI here, you can see with the latest blue circle had a peak in bull resistance, and most recently, where did it hit? Based on what I showed you so far. Yeah, the bear support power zone, right? It made a trough there and is starting to turn higher. So most traders would think, okay, well, this has been extending for a while, right? We had highs near the red zone, the bear resistance. I should be looking for shorts. Well, the cool thing is that when you bring in the 3rd step, determine the presence of an entry signal between price and momentum. There was that disconnect that not syncing between price and momentum that not only would suggest a resumption higher, you also could have done math using the indicator values and the price action. Okay? It's pretty cool when you can use an indicator to actually create targets. And if you do the math and you do the formula, which I teach in my full system, the minimum upside target would have been for shares or contracts of the MES to trade up to 25180. Okay? And this is a 1 minute chart. Great. You want to see what unfolded? Boom. Futures rallied through there, extending up to about 25240. And looking at the size of the move from about 25130, right, on the micro ES, that's a $220 move in less than an hour on the micro. That's great. Because you have to think from the perspective of the person trading the micro is trading a smaller account, right? You have smaller risk amounts. Who doesn't want to make 220 bucks in an hour and do it on a low risk account? So that's just one example. And here it is all together, right? So like I said, I have a whole training that dives into RSI power zones for true mastery. And I'll show you the signal in session 2 because I cannot teach everything you need to know within an hour. Okay. It would do you a disservice and it would shoot you in the retirement. Yes, I said shoot you in the retirement. Like money isn't just money, right? It's the blood, sweat, and tears it took you to make it. And you can't afford to lose any of it. So I'm here to help you maximize it. And of course, I can't teach you everything that I've learned and applied in the markets in 25 years in 1 hour. So warning, don't do this at home without help. After all, that's what brought you here today. If you could do this without help, you wouldn't be here. So in a moment, I'm going to show you what you've been missing, and then we can look at how I can teach you more in depth. Making sense? Are you guys getting this? Type a Y for me in the chat. I want to see. We're here about halfway through. We're about to look at live markets. I want to know if you're with me. All right, awesome. So let's look at a different market and time frame. And then we're going to go to live charts, okay? So this is a commodity on a 5 minute time frame. So this is for my commodity futures traders out there. This is GC, all right? Now, unless you were living under a rock, you know that in the past month or so here, gold traded to new all-time highs, right? $4,000 plus an ounce. Insane. And I just want to kind of bring you back to that time when that was happening because you might think, if a market's sailing up to new highs, I can't really do anything, right? I have to just watch it run. Are there short-term opportunities for me? Absolutely. So let's take these 3 steps and apply them to that section of action. Step 1, review the chart and assess the price trend. Was this an uptrend, downtrend, or sideways? Yeah, this was a downtrend with barely a rally starting, right? We were pretty much at the most extreme ends of the move. All right, step 2, evaluate the RSI power zones reading. Now, what is it doing here? Well, most recently, it's rising and formed a trough near the bear support power zone, right? The lower of the 2 red lines. Step 3, determine the presence of an entry signal between price and momentum. So here, there was a pattern showing a disconnect between price and momentum that was a defensive move, meaning if you were short anywhere down here, you may want to protect your setups and they may lead to new opportunities to go long. So here's how this unfolded. Boom. Low at 3965, high at 406, okay? And I double checked the math, triple checked it with fellow traders in my tribe who trade commodity futures. Guys, this was a $4,100 advance. And for anybody who trades late in the day from Europe or other countries, right? Because gold is something that's like always moving. This shows you that this isn't just working during New York market hours, okay? This works in the middle of the night, during regular sessions, and everything in between. So this is it all together. And like I said, I have a whole training that dives into all 4 of the RSI power zones, and I'll give you the actual signals in the system with laid out steps. I'm just showing you here what you didn't know that you didn't know. That trading can be simple when you follow the expert. Making sense? Are you guys getting this? Okay, awesome. I think we want to take this to the charts. I want to take this to the charts, okay? So what I'm going to do is I have 2 different sets of charts open. And for those of you who are bold and here live and want to drop your market in the chat, I want you to give me 2 things before you type it in. The ticker, but also the time frame that you want to see this applied, okay? And if you're shy, no worries. I have plenty of things I want to look at so that you can get to know it and see it in motion. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause my screen for a moment as I bring up my TradeStation. So I grew up on TradeStation, okay? My dad was using TradeStation since God knows when, and that's what I learned on. I'm also now learning and aiming to transition to wealth charts. Okay. So I'll have both available. Okay. So great. We have Rahul asking for the SPY 1 minute chart. So just to not have us all get blinded by all this flashing, okay, I'm going to expand the chart, but these are just some, ideas of some of the kinds of things we look at in my monthly group coaching. So let's first go to the daily timeframes that we all have perspective, and then I'll go down to the 1 minute. So here's the RSI power zones. Okay, I just kind of kept it clean, removed all the extra labels. You can definitely keep those on, and I'll talk to you more in a moment about how you can get access to the indicator. But I just want to talk about what's happening on the SPY. So what's been a little concerning is that we had a move higher on the RSI, but the price, sorry, we had a move higher in price several weeks ago, and the RSI didn't follow through, right? So then we had a sharp correction, but that was mostly fueled by all the China tariff stuff, all right, on Friday, October 10th. Then we had a move higher, and we had another disconnect between price and momentum, and now we're pulling back. But in the big picture, I don't think it's all over just yet. I think we're still in a position where we might be trying to find a footing soon. So I'm going to take this SPY daily. I'm going to go now down to a 60-minute chart, and then I'll go to the 1 minute. So in this 60-minute chart, notice I changed the time frame, but I did not change the settings of the indicator, okay? The way that I teach the settings in the full system, you do not change them for the time frame. And if you do choose to change any of the settings, then you're on your own, okay? That's not what I teach. So the 60-minute chart, look at how beautifully back here it peaked in bull resistance multiple times, right? And then it started coming undone. So where are we now before we go to the 1 minute? Well, we have pushed lower to the bear support zone. That's not great. So let's look at it in a 1 minute chart right now. Now this is the SPY, okay? So it's a little bit kind of not as smooth moving as like the ES futures, but we can still look and see. Now, this has been choppy downward action. And look, Rahul, do you see how all of these peaks were pretty much at or very close to the bear resistance power zone? Would that have been helpful for trading the 1 minute SPY chart today? I couldn't have made this up before coming here and presenting to you all, right? This is what the market gave us. All right, awesome. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I mean, the thing speaks for itself. But like I said, it doesn't work 100% of the time, just like no tool does. So that's where if you see patterns you can layer in, that helps more. And of all the instances here, the best patterns that I see were actually back at this 2 p.m. hour. This was a great pattern saying, hey, we might be ending this rally. Okay. And I teach the patterns in the system. And then later, this one, well, this second one wasn't as good. I would say this is the star of the day. Okay. All right. Very cool. Now, some of you shared earlier that you trade GLD in a daily chart. So I'll go to that next. If there are any other markets you want to look at, go ahead and type them in the chat. All right. So GLD on the daily chart. Now, again, we all know when gold just rocketed higher, right? So it's $400 on DLD, but it's 4,000 on GC. And we have been pulling back. All the RSI power zones have been doing on the daily chart is working off overbought conditions. So there was actually a clear signal for defense here. So if you were long, there was a defensive signal that said if you're long, you may want to tighten up your stops. And then we started to get the beginning of the weakness. But now we're already heading back towards bull support. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more in the action, okay? All we're doing is retracing this last move higher, okay? So there was all this consolidation. It started to break out. Now, retracements, people, can question each other's uses. The way my dad taught me was when you have a new price move that low, the one that the new move started from is the one to measure from. So I didn't learn to measure the retracement from here because this was all consolidation. I learned to measure from here, okay? So we're getting really close to the 50% retracement, which could be a very good support level. And we don't have anything on the RSI power zones saying that we don't have room to go a little further lower, right? But if we go a little lower and we stay above the lower part of the bull support power zone, check this out. The last time we came there, that was a great buying opportunity. And all of this consolidation on GLD kept holding the bull support power zone. That was a clue that this was just a pause ahead of a break higher. Pretty cool, right? Type a line in the chat if you see that the RSI power zones bull support holding and that we've returned to bull support. Yeah, it's awesome, right? Fantastic, awesome, yes, awesome. Okay, great. All right, Kathy wants to look at PayPal. Okay, Kathy, do you have a time frame that you want to look at? If not, I'll start with just daily and go from there. PYPL. Okay. All right. So I have lots of markings on this chart because I must have deeply analyzed it during a coaching session. That's what I assume. So let's just take off everything that's done here. Okay. Everything that's kind of come and gone and go from there. All right. So kind of focusing in on everything after the January high. Okay. PayPal attempted to recover and met at 62.5% of that. Now, you might be thinking, what the heck is 62.5%? I am a Gann girl, okay? My late father taught me from Gann's techniques. Of course, I know Fibonacci. Of course, I understand all these other things. I actually almost worked for the Elliott Wave Company. That's a story for another day. But I decided to pick one number set and stick with it. You don't have to. You can pick Fibonacci. You can do Elliott Wave. But it does help to have at least one sort of approach to mapping price action. And I teach that in the system where I teach all these powers, RSI patterns, okay? I don't say, oh, momentum's doing this, go act. I say momentum is doing X, price action is doing Y, now maybe go look at it, okay? That's super important. So let's look at these together here. We had a useful disconnect between price and momentum back here. That was the first sign that this move lower might, be unfolding. Like I said, we had attempts higher. All this became like an expanding formation, which is usually kind of bearish, and that's exactly what unfolded, but it didn't really turn into an extended down move. So where are we now for PayPal? Well, I think they reported earnings recently. So for that, let me open up my well charts because I like their earnings tool here. Okay, so I don't know if I have it in this list. We're going to double check. So I'm just going to search. No, that's PPL. All right, let's type on the chart PYPL. And I believe there'll be a little, yeah, here we go. So it was October 28th. So on well charts, they put this little bubble here that tells you when the earnings were. Okay, so that was a gap up from earnings and then it pulled lower. This is not looking good, Kathy. That's what I'll say, okay? And I think there's a pretty decent chance that PayPal might trade back towards 61.48. Why did I pick that number? Where does it come from? That comes from the most simple way that I determine support and resistance. Okay? So I'm showing you the effects, but I can't teach you all the methods here. All right? So let's go ahead and look at two or three more examples. I am going to pull up one that was mentioned earlier, MNQ, but if you guys have others you want to look at, this is the time, okay? All right, so let's do MNQZ25, the current contract. So micro NASDAQ, right? So tech tends to move a little bit more with a little more drama, okay? It's a little bit more of like a celebrity walking in the room, waving its dress around versus just like a regular person. Okay. That's how I relate to the NQ versus the ES. The ES is wild, the NQ is like way more wild. So we have a pullback going on here, but it's the same situation, right? There's not much room to go to then get to the bull support power zone. And since August, every time we got to the bull support power zone, this thing was trying to find a footing every single time. Finally, on September 2nd, that was the launch pad to the moves that we had recently, and we didn't even make it all the way up to bull resistance. Okay. We also had another launch pad on that weird October 10th day, and I put an email out and I put an article out and I said, look, I know this bar looks really ugly, but it also looked really ugly on August 1st. I don't think this is a selling opportunity. I think if anything, this might be a buying opportunity, and stocks you've been waiting to see go on sale might be on sale now. And that's exactly what happened. I don't have a crystal ball, okay? I'm just following the speed of the moves and the price action. And the speed didn't slow down enough. It was just a little pause, all right? So let's take a look at this on a 60 minute, just for an intraday experience. So very similar to what we looked at on the SPY, right? We had all these spikes up into bull resistance, then started to drop. And this most recent holding in bear resistance here was the kind of the which happened midday yesterday. Okay. So now we're just continuing to correct lower. Have we retraced 50% of the most recent advance? We have, and it's pushing below it. So this is still not looking super great. I think it's got room to go, and I would say that the first support is around 25,325. Excuse me. So how I'm making those decisions is based off of like my years of experience of determining support and resistance, and then also, like I said, my simplest tool to do that. Okay. All right. How about one or two more? Let's see what we've got here. Okay. Let's look at a stock that might be reporting earnings or just reported today. So I'm going to go back to my list and now I'm going to go to announced. So what I did is I updated this list to only show me S&P 500 stocks that are reporting earnings this week. So I did a video where I looked at all the ones looking at November 5th. Okay, so that video is out in the world. So let me just go ahead and get a head start and do some homework here. Let's look at the ones that are reporting November 6th. And we're going to just jump through these for a few minutes because I want you guys to get the exposure and see on live current markets that this actually works. Okay, so here we go. I'm only going to comment if I see something really significant. Whoa, this guy, DuPont, it didn't even have its earnings yet, and it's already had a massive drop lower. So that's interesting. Ooh, this one I like as a short. Okay. Now, this is another alarming thing, guys. The big stocks that invest on AI, right? Your what used to be the FANG stocks, which is now, I guess, the Mag 7, Nvidia, etc. They're all like fine, doing okay, I guess. But a lot of stocks are weak. So what that's called is another area of analysis is called the breadth of the market. Okay, not like breath, like bad breath, but like BREADTH. And those of you who are stock traders, you should really always be very closely paying attention to what is the breadth. How many stocks are actually trading higher versus lower? And a lot of them are weak right now. But that's not a bad thing. You can just take advantage of bearish opportunities. So right here, this ticker EPAM has a great little short opportunity. In fact, I see that there's possibly the existence of a pattern we could calculate. So I'm going to make a little note to myself, ticker EPAM, to calculate that at monthly group coaching later this week. Okay. Because my students there have access, they know all the information, the formulas and everything. All right. APD, ooh, really beaten up. Look how many times it held bear resistance and now has dropped lower. All right. There's a question about AMD. So sure, I'll drop that one in. I feel like I got the wrong thing. Hold on. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So AMD, hmm. So this one reported on November 4th. So today. Okay. I don't know how they did, and I'm just going to talk based on what the chart's currently giving me. Okay. So pushed up into bull resistance both times. So that would help you stay long on your advances. It's now working off the overbought conditions a little bit, but I'm going to go over to TradeStation for this one because I'm still learning the wealth charts tools, so I can analyze faster, frankly, on TradeStation. Okay, yeah. So here on AMD, while we stay above this low from October 22nd, I think there's room for it to resume higher. I'm not saying stick your hand out and buy. I'm saying that's what's maintaining the bullish structure. What I would ideally like to see, okay, I do not have a crystal ball, but the following could happen. So I'm going to use Zoom drawing. What if we get a couple down days tomorrow? And what if we get the RSI return to bull support and make a trough? And then price makes what I call a price low, a lower bar low, and then a higher bar low. That might be a low risk area to then say, all right, let's build up the next position. I don't have a crystal ball. That may not happen, but that's how I'd approach it. Okay? Awesome. Okay, great. So, question for you guys. Would you like to know more about how you can bring the RSI power zones and all the related patterns and setups into your trading? Would you like me to take a few minutes and just tell you how you can kind of learn from me further? Just type a Y in the chat. I always like to check and get permission, right? Okay, awesome. So I'm just gonna bring us back to the slides here for a few minutes. Because I'm super excited to be sharing all this with you today because I'm very passionate about the work I do to provide traders the best analysis and education to trade the markets, okay? So that you can take control of your financial freedom and live the life you and your family deserve. So by now you know that power zones on the RSI can really boost your trading because whether you're new to studying momentum or you've been doing it for years, this approach can really help you extract profits, more profits from the markets and be more consistent. And consistent profits is what it's all about, right? Just type a Y in the chat if you want to make more consistent profits. That's probably why you're at this event today, right? Absolutely. There should be typing Ys flying through the chat. All right, amazing. So let me ask you, did I provide value for you today? Did you learn? Are you ready for more? Okay, awesome. Then it's time to fully master RSI power zones. And here's the thing. This can boost your trading for years to come once you learn how to deploy it effectively. Like Henry, okay? Here's just one of the trade successes he wrote in about using the RSI power zones. This is a screenshot of an email. It says 2017, okay? November, actually. Fantastic. That's exactly what, 7, 8 years ago, right? And that's just one example he sent. Then he emails us, the same Henry, 3 years later, still profitable, still using these same techniques. So this is to show you that what you've seen is not one and done. It can become an integral part of how you're trading and helping you refine your entries and maximize your exits so that you can get more out of your trades. And it's something you can apply for the rest of your trading career successfully. So will you be our next success story? Making sense? Are you getting this? How simple it can be to trade when you have help? Great. So imagine and picture this. You finally able to turn your trading around and make money with trading and live the lifestyle you've always wanted, giving back to your community the ways you've always wanted to. Sounds great, right? Spending all the time you want with your kids and grandkids. All right, great. So here is what I've got for you. This system that can give you all that is the 4Zones RSI coverage system, newly updated. Now, before I give you this opportunity, let me show you the features and benefits using the system will give you. Rapid results. You can learn to use the system in as fast as 60 minutes and you'll be up and running. It's perfect for any account size, $5,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 or $1,000,000 or more, you can trade this. You pinpoint your trades faster, so it takes less time. Get more profit because it's perfect to add to whatever you're doing right now. Perfect for beginners, so easy anyone can do it. Perfect for experts to diversify their accounts because the 4Zones RSI coverage system gives you all this. But first, who's this not for? This is not for those who are trying to get rich quick. Like anything worthwhile in life, trading takes consistent work to get consistent returns. So if you're here to play the slot machines, this is not for you. So who is this for? This is for those who are ready to analyze the markets like the expert to optimize and boost their trading. This is for those who want to diversify what they're already doing for additional profits. This is for those who are ready to step up and take action for their own financial freedom. Since you're still sitting here with me, you're taking the time to learn to boost your trading, you're ready to take action now because it's time to remember what you forgot to remember. You can let it be easy. So in my 4Zones RSI coverage system, I give you my 25 years experience on a silver platter. And it's 100% focused on step-by-step systems. Instantly accessible starting with video tutorials where I take you by the hand and I move you through the 8 phases of a trade. So you have a complete system to your approach so you minimize mistakes. Then I give you my top RSI Power Zones trading signals from years of study and observation with various real-world examples across multiple markets and timeframes like we've been doing here today. I walk you through the best entries, exits, and protective stop strategies so you can extract the most profit from the market using RSI Power Zones. And every video tutorial is available to review over and over. Now there are 4 training sessions ready for you to dive into and each training is about an hour. The focus of every training is to simply teach the 4Zones RSI methods that you can add into your trading right away. So session 1 is optimizing price and momentum. Remember when I introduced 3 steps to finding RSI Power Zone setups and it actually started with price action first? In session 1, we get you clear on how to review price action in conjunction with the indicator to find the best opportunities. Session 2 is Power Zone setups. This is where you get into the details of exactly how to compare the RSI Power Zones to the price action you find to find opportunities to enter or exit for the lowest risk and max profit. And it covers when the price trends change as well as when they continue right? So you can get in on a wave that's already formed. You can trade both trend changes and continuations. Now, in session 3, we dive into Jedi price twists, bringing in my favorite ways to discover support and resistance price levels that further boost the setups learned earlier in the system. And session number 4 is all about intraday application. Whether you trade or day trade or swing trade or scalp or your position trader, seeing what you just learned applied to actual charts is critical, and I walk you through it in case studies. This is very exciting stuff that almost no one will ever show you, and it makes all the difference. So the Four Zones RSI system is a fully deployable trading system that you can add to whatever you're doing right now to maximize your results. Now, to make it even easier, you're going to get my set of cheat sheets like this. Okay, they're going to be filled out and they're going to be a handy guide to keep your trading simple and not miss a step. Because missing a step can be the difference between growing or blowing your account. Because when you're executing your trades, especially from a new system, it's important to get it right. So you'll use these cheat sheets, this PDF, to help you execute what you're learning in the videos. Now, you're going to love this, okay? This is the thing everyone's always pestering me to get because I have to have it specially coded for you. I'm also including the RSI Power Zones indicator on a variety of platforms. So you can install the indicator for as many of these platforms as you like, to as many machines as you like, as many times as you like. So that's Well Charts, Ensign, eSignal, Metastock, MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, NinjaTrader, Sierra Chart, Thinkorswim, Trade Navigator, TradeStation, TradingView. Like, I've had many traders email in and offer me thousands of dollars just for the indicator alone, and I'm giving it to you here, all of them, for whatever platform you're in, and maybe you're transitioning like me, and you're getting it as part of the complete system. So I've included everything to set you up for success. The only thing you can possibly still need is for me to take you by the hand personally and help you. Actually, would you like that? Would that help you if I hopped in the computer with you and showed you live how it's done and answered your questions right there on the spot? Would that be helpful? Okay, awesome. Then I'm going to give you everything, including me. Monthly live group coaching. Once a month, we'll get together online with me personally, and I'll spend an hour with you. We'll be looking over my shoulder as I demonstrate trade setups on current markets, like we did here today, answer your burning questions, and I even take your personal tickers right there for you live and help you grow your account. It's like getting a call from me and my team personally every month, giving you behind the scenes rundown of everything that's moving the needle the most right now, and then showing you how to model in your trading fast. And to really make it useful to you, you're also getting the recordings of the sessions uploaded to your members area so you can review them again and again. The only other way to have access to this information would be if you work with me in my office, shoulder to shoulder with me every day. Now you can see I've truly built in everything you need to boost your trading with the Four Zones RSI coverage system. So the Four Zones RSI coverage system, with the on-demand video tutorials where I take you by the hand through how to best trade with the RSI Power Zones, is valued at $1,997. The cheat sheets that you can use as a daily trading guide to learn the system faster and more easily is valued at $197. The RSI Power Zones indicator, available for the most popular trading platforms, is valued at $497. And live monthly group coaching with me to get you unstuck and even analyze your personal tickers is really priceless, but I'm valuing it at $797 because I easily charge $1,500 an hour for my personal coaching. So altogether, the Four Zones RSI coverage system is a value of $3,488, and it's worth every penny. And let me ask you, if all the system did for you is help you trade market turns more confidently, even in volatile conditions, would it be worth it? Yes. If all the system did for you is help you finally make money trading with momentum, would it be worth it? Absolutely. If all the system did for you is help you make so much money with trading that you can quit your job, travel the world, and live the lifestyle you deserve, would it be worth the investment? Of course. Now, the total value of this system is $3,488 because I want to make an investment in your future, because I want you to see a return on your investment fast. For a limited time, I'm making this system available for one low, easy investment of $297 for life. So you can visit himareddy.com/synergy. That's SYNERGY in honor of our hosts here today to get started. So when you get to himareddy.com/synergy and invest in the system today, I'm going to give you all this because I want to see you finally succeed in your trading, right? So I'm giving you our personal 100% satisfaction buyback guarantee. Take action now, use the complete package for 90 days, and wear the tires off the system. If you aren't 100% satisfied with your investment, then I'll give you your money back as my gift to you. I want you to be 150% satisfied with the Four Zones RSI coverage system. After all, my clients tend to stick around a long time and become my friends too. Follow the whole system, okay? I want you to get out there, treat it like a rental car, put it through its paces, drive it all over the place, wear the tires off the thing. And if you don't feel you've gotten far more than your investment, then I'll hop on the phone with you, personally work with you. And what I really want is for you to be totally satisfied, and that's what we guarantee. If that still hasn't happened, then I'll give you your money back. Simple as that. Again, the total value of the system is over $3,488. And for a limited time, I'm giving it to you for the simple, easy investment of $297. So go ahead and take action now. You can go ahead and visit himareddy.com/synergy to sign up. And let me show you exactly what will happen when you join us. After you sign up, you're going to get your login info, whoops, and be able to head right into our amazing interactive portal. You'll also have instant access to all the video trainings. You'll be able to download the cheat sheet. Everything is lined up 1, 2, 3 for you, okay? Now, the 4 zones RSI coverage system that you'll learn will teach you how to fish for momentum trade setups. And between the video trainings and the indicator and the downloads, this is some really powerful stuff. And you get even more of it when you've got the right guide to give you that kickstart. So your first bonus is going to be a rapid results quick start guide. Here's exactly how it works. Okay. I personally went into the portal recently and I pulled out the 3 fast steps everyone needs to do when they sign up for 4 zones RSI. Then you can get right into the trainings. Now, here's the thing. Maybe you're brand new to my world. Okay. This is your first time joining me as a trader and you want to make sure you do all the steps, or maybe you want a refresher. Then you can head to the new to portal's optional steps to help you customize and maximize your membership in your portal. Either way, you're going to be set to make the most out of this system out of the gate. Now, today I showed you examples of RSI power zones at work. And it's important for you to know how to do the analysis on your charts. You saw my screens on TradeStation, you saw them on Well charts. So as a bonus, I'm giving you my Power Zones Chart Master training with Hima. I dig into the underbelly of my charts, showing you exactly how to set up candlesticks, drawing tools, and more, so you can be ready to trade the RSI Power Zones way. And I give you directives that you can translate these steps to any charting software. This is on demand now and ready for you to watch in your 4 zones portal. The Rapid Results Quick Start Guide to get you using this system right away to boost your trading fast is valued at $197. And the Power Zones Chartmaster training to get you fully up and running on your screens is valued at $297. With these added bonuses, the total value of the system is over $3,982. And again, for a limited time, for this event here this week, I'm giving this to you for one simple, easy investment of only $297 for lifetime access. So go ahead and take action now. You can visit himareddy.com/synergy to sign up, and I'll still be right here with you. And let me ask you, are you worth the investment? Is your family worth it? Take action, boost your trading now, and I'll see you on the inside. You can visit himareddy.com/synergy to get started. And I think I have 2 minutes here to take any questions. And yes, here's that breakdown of everything for you. Remember, this is a limited time opportunity that's only for the duration of this Friendsgiving event. So it'll come down within the next day or so. So if you want to join me, take action now. Our next monthly group coaching is on Thursday. So that'll give you time to study up and come ask me questions. And we'll go from there. There's a question here. Can this be applied to Indian stock markets? Absolutely. So these are techniques that you can apply to anything that you can plot with price and time. Crypto, non-US markets, Forex, and I do those examples all the time in my various coaching sessions. In my actual coaching, I plot US markets, but you can absolutely, in our members group, put your charts of you doing it on, the Nifty 50 or anything else, and get feedback from your other traders who are using the same techniques. Okay, fantastic. David, I don't know if there's any other questions I missed or that are coming from other places, so I'll check with you here.
I think that's it. Oh, someone asked about prop
Yeah,
trading.
so this is a system to teach you the skills, right? So yes, you can use this to get funded. In fact, we have a few students who, with the RSI Power Zones help, have definitely, improved their performance in getting their prop funding going. I cannot make any guarantees of that, obviously, but it is definitely something you can put towards prop trading.
All right. Thanks, Hima.
All right, thanks, David. Have a great day.